Om Shuklam Bharadharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarvabhignopashantaye Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Me Sada Yenaksharasamaamnayam Adhigamya Maheshwarat Kritsnam Vyakaranam Proktam Tasmai Paninaye Namaha Vakyakaram Vararuchim Bhashyakaram Patanjalim Paninim Sutrakarancha Pranatosmi Munitrayam Vagarthaviva Sampraktau Vagarthah Pratipattaye Jagatah Pitarau Vande Parvati Parameshwarau Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Namaste, everyone. So far we've been looking at different vibhakti. So we were looking at Prathama Vibhakti and Dvitiya Vibhakti. So for the warm-up, I just told us to look at some vocabulary to help us as we go along with this, as we do Prathama to Saptami Vibhakti, we'll be using these same set of words. So it's helpful for us to get familiar with these words without having to refer to them back and forth like that. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll chant our Rama Shabda, just the first three cases, okay? So you can chant along with me. Ramaha, Ramo, Ramaha, Ramam, Ramo, Raman, Ramena, Ramabhyam, Ramaihi. Okay, so hopefully we can get these are becoming more and more familiar. They don't look like totally out of nowhere. So last time we were talking about this third case. So before that, Prathama Vibhakti, we were looking at, there's some common meanings that we get in Prathama Vibhakti here, right? So there's in Kartari Prayoga, we often see Kartari Prathama, right, in first case. We also see in Karmani Vibhakti, or Karmani Prayoga, we see Karmani Prathama, right? So the first case in the sense of object. And we see something called Sambodhana. When you're calling out to someone, you would use Sambodhana. So He Rama, He Ramo, He Ramaha, etc. Right? In second case, we saw that the second case is often connected to the Karmani Dutiya, right? So second case in the sense of object. So Ramaha Vanam Gacchati, right? Vanam is to Dutiya Vibhakti Ekavachanam. He goes to the forest. It's in the sense of object. And we also saw that there's some non-karaka vibhaktis related to second case with prati, antarena, etc. Now we'll start going into third case. So just to remind us, right? Third case we see Ramena, Ramabhyam, Ramaihi. So the 1-1, we add the suffix of in. So Rama plus in becomes Ramena, and then Nakara becomes Murdanya Nakara, so it looks like Ramena. And then we saw that in 3-2, I don't know where 3-2 went. I think we lost, yeah, there we go. 3-2, the last is elongated before the suffix bhyam. So we get Rama bhyam. So if we have any of the other words in the case, we could see guna bhyam, acharya bhyam, etc., right? Deha bhyam, vriksha bhyam, etc. And then in 3-3, the last is changed to I, and we add a visarga, right? So Ramaihi, Or we can do any of these words. Gunaihi, deshaihi, vishayaihi, gramaihi, dehaihi, etc. Okay, so let me know if you have any questions with that, but it's looking good so far. Back to where we were. Okay, so now we'll look at third case. Does anybody have any questions with the first two cases? If so, let me know in the chat and I can take the time right now to answer them. Okay, so we have one question. Let me get to that. Let me find. Okay, Harprasad ji, go
Yes,
ahead.
I have two questions.
Yeah.
One is on the second vibhakti,
Mm-hmm.
and the next one is on the third vibhakti. Now, when we say putrao suryam ikshete,
Mm-hmm.
okay? Now, can I translate this as the sun, S-U-N, the sun is seen by two suns.
The sun is seen by two suns.
Okay.
But so ikshete is actually, I think it's kartari prayoga. Iksh, I think, is 4a. So that's why we get the yakara.
Yeah.
But it's, so 4a, even though it looks exactly like karmani prayoga, it can actually, even though it looks like karmani prayoga, it could be actually be kartari prayoga as well. I think so, right? Iksh is do we know if it's 4a?
Yeah.
If it's 4a, then that's correct. Then it's actually kartari prayoga.
Okay. If, let's say it's karmani prayoga for a second.
Okay.
Okay.
Then
is the translation correct? The sun, Surya, the sun is seen by two suns, or two suns are seeing the sun.
So, but the sun, it's a suryam, correct?
The sun is Suryam.
So suryam is 2-1. That
Correct.
2-1 cannot be the karta.
Correct.
And in karmani prayoga, so it's only the karma in kartari prayoga. So it's only the object when we're in karmani prayoga, 2-1. So if we're in karmani, then the second case usually is not there. The first case will be the karma.
Correct. If it is in Kartari Prayoga, Suryam is the object.
Yes.
So can we say two suns see the sun, two suns are seeing the suns, or two suns?
We can say two suns are seeing the sun, but we can't say it the other way. We can't say the one sun is or we can't say the two suns are seen by the sun, because that sun is in second case. So it can't be the karta, it can't be the doer. Even in karmani prayoga, it can't be the doer of the action. That makes sense.
So I'm confused about the translation. One translation is two suns see the sun.
Yeah, that's the only translation possible here.
Why not two suns are seeing the sun?
Yeah, so we can say two suns see the sun.
Yes.
But we can say, yeah, but we can't say the two suns are seen by the sun.
No, two suns are seeing the sun.
Yeah, that's also fine.
Okay.
That's also fine, yeah.
Okay. My next question is on the Tritiya Vibhakti, Ekavachana. Now the sup pratyaya is in.
Mm-hmm.
So Ramena, for example, akara plus ikara becomes ekara.
Yeah.
So it is Ram. till that point it is Ramin. But the Nakara becomes a Nakara. My question is the Halanta N becomes a Nakara or a full Na becomes a Nakara?
Yeah, I
Nakara.
actually made a mistake. It should be inna. This line should not be there.
Okay.
So it's Rama plus inna. Thank you.
Inna. Okay. Then I agree. Correct.
Then, yeah, then it's correct. So let me erase that actually. So we're
Okay.
clear right now.
Thank
so
you.
It's actually, so here, if I could, yeah. So we'll just here, yeah. So it's Rama plus Ina becomes Ramena. Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you for catching that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll continue on with Triya Vibhakti. So Ramena, Ramabhyam, Ramaihi. So let's look at some of the meanings. So this is in your book. You can look for the third case meanings. I actually don't have the physical book. So if you can let me know what page so that everyone knows. It looks like this on the screen. Tritiya Vibhakti. So third case is employed to convey, right? So we're looking at these meanings. The first thing we want to look at is something called karanam. Okay, before you get comfortable with that page, so mark that page, but so we're going to be flipping between 78, and then I want you to find in the beginning of the book, karika. In the beginning of the book, there's a karika, and you'll see karanam. Okay, so we're going to flip between those two pages. So one thing we want to know is that karanam, so third case is used to convey the karanam. So you can repeat after me, karanam. If you can't find the page, don't worry. It's on the screen, so you can just follow along. It'll be quick. Karanam is what we call, translate in English, is called an instrument of action. Okay, so with reference to any action, an instrument or means to accomplish something gets a technical name, karanam. So it's one of the 6 karakas, right? We saw karma, karta karaka, karma karaka. Now we're on the third one, karanam. Karanam is the instrument of action. So we can see this example here. Devadattaha odanam khadati. Devadatta eats rice by hand. So Devadatta odanam khadati hastena, by hand. Okay, so we see that with reference to the action of eating, what is the karta? Devadatta. So, okay, so right now we're on page 14. Thank you. Right now we're on page 14. So for everyone who's looking, we're on page 14. You'll see what I have on the screen. So we're looking at what karanam means. It's an instrument of action. So with reference to the action of eating, who's the karta? Who eats? Devadatta. Devadatta is the karta. What does Devadatta eat? He eats rice. So rice is the karma. And now we want to ask, what does he eat with? With what instrument? So with what does he eat? He eats by hand. So we can ask the question, with what? With what? So by hand is the answer to that question. So that's what we call a karanam. It's the instrument by which he accomplishes eating. Okay, so let's look at the next example. He goes to the village by bus. With reference to the action of going, saha, he is the karta, right? He goes. Okay, in the chat, what is the karma? What is the karma? Yeah, so with reference to the action of going, he goes to the village. So village is karma. Okay, now in the chat, what is the karanam? What is the karanam? Yeah, so the bus. He goes with what? He goes with the bus. So all of these answers coming in are all correct. Right, so this is exactly, we know karta, karma, and karanam. He is the karta, he goes where? Village. Village is the karma, and he goes with what? Goes by the bus. Or by, yeah, by what? Or with what? Okay, let's close this one. Let's look at this last example. Bird is seen by him through binoculars. Okay, with reference to the action of seeing, can you tell me in the chat who is the karta, comma, karma? Karta, comma, karma. Don't worry about karanam yet. What is the karta, comma, karma? Okay, it's looking good. Karta, comma, karma. Yep. So who sees? This is a bit tricky. I was being a little bit tricky, right? Well, it's not that tricky because everyone got it right. He is the karta. He is the one who is seeing. He sees what? He sees the bird. The bird is the karma. And then, right, we know, I don't even need to ask you to type it, right? I know you know the karma, the karanam is binoculars, right? He sees through the binoculars. So it's an instrument with which he sees or by which he sees. So karta, karma, karanam. Okay, so going back. Now we're going to go back to page 78 in the book. So you can flip back to page 78 and you can see that third case is employed to use, it's employed to convey the karanam on page 78. So when we use this third case, could convey this karaka called karanam. When it does that, it's called karane tritiya. Okay, so you can repeat it after me. Karane tritiya. Karane tritiya. Okay, so the example, just what I was saying, right? Devadattaha hastena odanam khadati. Who eats? Devadatta eats. He eats what? Odanam, the rice. With what? With what does he eat? Hastena, by hand. So Devadatta eats the rice by hand. His hand is an instrument, so therefore that's called the karanam. Or we put it in, it's called karane tritiya. Because it's the instrument, we could use the third case, is what I'm trying to say. The second example, odanaha hastena khadyate. Okay, notice khadyate. Now this is karmani prayoga. I have a yakara and I have atmane pada, and khad is 1p. Okay, so khad 1p to eat. Latlakarha karmani prayoga, third one. Okay. Now he's still, so odanaha is the object. So rice is eaten. It's eaten by what? Hastena. It's still the instrument. We can still call it the karanam because it's used to accomplish the action. Therefore, we can use the third case here. Okay. Let's keep this up. Okay. Now this is where it gets a little bit tricky. This is the second thing I want to look at before we do some examples. Okay, one thing we need to know is when we're in karmani prayoga. Okay, so this one can be in kartari or karmani, right? Karanam can be kartari, karmani, but the second example that we do is in karmani prayoga, right? So we want to look at this one. In karmani prayoga, we want to make sure we're looking at that and noticing that we're talking about karmani. Oops, it's not the right pen. Get the right pen out. Okay, so in In karmani prayoga, the third case can convey the karta. Okay, when the third case is in the sense of karta, it's called kartari tritiya. Repeat after me. Kartari tritiya. Okay, so let's make a note in below. In kartari prayoga, the karta is in first case. Karta is in first case, right? In kartari prayoga, karta is in first case. But in karmani prayoga, karta is in third case. Okay, so it's in third case. This is the doer in karmani prayoga is in third case. So it's really important to note which prayoga are we in? Are we in active voice or passive voice? With that, what the karta is will change. So in kartari prayoga, karta is in first case. In karmani prayoga, first case will be karma, right? First case will be karma in karmani prayoga, and the third case will be the karta. Okay, so we see this example here above. Odanaha devadattena hastena khadyate. Okay. Notice how there's two different third cases. One third case is in the sense of karana. One third case is in the sense of karta. Okay. So we first look at the verb. We look at the verb and we see it's khadatu, 1p, lat lakara, but karmani prayoga. Okay, we want to always know that's karmani prayoga. Karmani prayoga, therefore, the first case is going to be karmani prathama. So eaten, what is eaten? Rice is eaten. Rice is eaten with what? With his hands. By who? By Devadatta. Devadatta is the doer. The hand is the instrument by which he does. Okay, so Devadatta is the main person, but his hand is the instrument with which he eats. So this is karane, and this is Devadatta is the karta of the verb, therefore it's in third case. Okay, let's do an example together, or we can look at an example in the back of the book. So exercise 11 in the back of the book, you can see, or you can just follow along with what's in screen, because I just have it, that first example. So it says, Ramaha hastena ghatam sprishati. Okay, so this is just an example, and then we'll do one with kartari also. This is just a karane example. Okay, so we take the verb. The verb here, right, is sprishati. Sprish dhatu, 6p, to touch. Ting pratyaya is lat lakara kartari prayoga. Prathama purusha ekavachana, right? Third one it's talking about. He, she, it touches. Okay, after we go for the verb, we always look for which case? First case, right? Always want to look for first case. So we take the first case, Ramaha. Ramaha, it's Rama, Pratipadika, Akaranta Pullinga, Suprataya is Prathama Vibhakti, Ekavachanam, it's 1-1, right? Vibhakti Artha, it's Kartari Prathama. It's Kartari Prathama because we're in Kartari Prayoga, right? So the doer is Rama. So Rama touches. Rama touches what? He touches the ghatam because it's probably filled with ghee. Ghatam, pratipadika is gata, akarantaha, pullingaha, so ending masculine. Supratya, Dutiya Vibhakti, because it looks like Ramam, right? So Gatam, Ramam, looks, so you know it's 2-1, Dutiya Vibhakti Ekavachanam, and the meaning is Karmani Dvitiya, right? It's a second case in the sense of object. So Rama touches what? Rama touches the pot. Last thing here, okay, so let me hide these things, is hastena, right? Hasta, akaranta pullinga, ending masculine, meaning hand. Supratya is tritiya vibhakti ekavachanam, 3-1. Meaning is karane tritiya, right? Because it's the, here, we're in a kartri prayoga. So we know it can't be kartari tritiya, because kartari tritiya is only in karmani prayoga. Okay, I hope that was, I hope that made sense. Anyways, we know it's the instrument of action, right? What does he do it with? He eats with, or he touches with his hand. So it's third case in the sense of the instrument of action of a karanam to the verb sprishati. So translation is Rama touches the pot by the hand. Ramaha hastena gatam sprishati. Rama touches what? The pot. And he touches the pot with what? With his hand. Okay, let's do another example. So if you want to open to the back of the book, we'll do one more example. I don't have it prepared, but we can do it together. Let's do one with a karmani. I mean, sorry, let's look at one. That's a little bit more difficult. Okay, let's do number 4. Sorry for the noise in the background. Hope you can't hear it. Okay, so we'll just write down the sentence so far. So we have number 4, right? So it's Gataha Devadattena Hastabhyam Oops, you can write Anuswara, but it's okay. Asyate. Okay, so this is Gata. Okay, we want to find the verb first. So I'm going to find the verb. The verb here, right, we want to find is asyate. So asyate, we know it's the ting pratyaya is, right, lat lakaraha. Now, is it karmani or kartari? Oh, sorry, I skipped a step. I dhatu. But we'll do dhatu afterwards. Dhatu. Ladlakaraha. This is, can you tell me in the chat, kartari or karmani? And what is the dhatu? Okay, yeah, it's karmani. Karmani prayoga. And it's third one. Prathama vibhakti, I mean, Prathama Purusha Ekavachanam. The dhatu, this is as dhatu. I believe it's 4p. But we see it's Atmanepada. So we know that it's Karmani Prayoga, right? As 4p means to touch. So far we know it says he, she, it touches. Something touches. Okay, let's look for our 1-1. Here we only have 1-1 or 1-1-1. So gataha, right? Gataha looks just like Ramaha. We look for our first case. It doesn't have to be 1-1. It could be 1-1, 1-2, or 1-3. But we find our first case, so that's our subantam. Gataha. Pratipadikam. I'm just writing some shorthand, so I'm just going to write prati. Pratipadikam is gata. Akaranta punlinga, meaning pot. Supratyaha. Is Prathama Vibhaktihi, Ekavachanam, and Vibhaktyartaha. Okay, so we're in Karmani Prayoga. The 1-1 is, then the meaning is going to be Kartri or Karmani? Karmani Prathama, okay. Yeah, Karmani Prathama. And we always have to write to what? To asyate. So we know that, so far we know the pot is touched. Okay, now we went from asyate, we went from verb to first case. Now we go from right to left. So let's take up hastabhyam. The pratipadika here is hasta, akaranta, punlinga, meaning hand, supratya. Oh, can you see? Sorry. Supratya is Ramaha, Ramena, Ramabhyam, Ramaihi, right? So it's 3-2, Tritiya Vibhakti, Tritiya Vibhakti, Dvivachanam, 3-2, and our Vibhakti Arthaha. Okay, can you tell me in the chat, what's the Vibhakti Arthaha for that one? You can still tell me in the chat. I'll still wait for a few more answers. Okay, so it wouldn't be Dvitiya Vibhakti, we're in Tritiya, so it's either Karane or it's Kartari. If we look at the sentence, he's touching. What is the instrument of touching? Instrument of touching is his hands, right? So this is Karane Tritiya. 2 asyate. Devadattena pratipadikam devadatta akaranta pullinga, meaning Devadatta. That's a name. Supratyaya is 3-1. Tritiya vibhakti ekavachanam, like Ramena. And our vibhakti arthaha. You can probably guess what it is. Right? It's yep, Kartari Tritiya. Why is it Kartari Tritiya, right? Because who is doing the action of throw? Oh, sorry. It should be throwing. To throw. Asyate is to throw, not to touch. I don't know why I said that. To throw. What is thrown? Us means to throw. I don't know why I said. I was thinking of the other example we just did. Okay, to throw. Okay, what is thrown? The pot is thrown. And with what does he do the instrument? With his hands. But who is doing throwing? Devadatta, right? Devadatta is the main person who is throwing. So this is Kartari Tritiya to Asyate. Translation, right? The pot is thrown by Devadatta with two hands. Right? Gataha Devadattena hastabhyam asyate. One question might be is why can't we say that this hasta is the karta and this is the karana? So the pot is thrown through Devadatta or by Devadatta. I don't even know how we translate. It's thrown with Devadatta by the two hands. It's possible. Technically, it's possible. Technically, you could switch the karta and karana, but contextually, we know that Devadatta is the one using the two hands, right? He's the karta. So contextually, we know that Devadatta is the karta and the hasta are the karana. Okay, so this is number 4. Why don't you, for the homework, there's actually not too many. So why don't, if you want to do all 9 and you don't have to do number 1 and number 4, yeah, you can do all of them except for number 4, right? We already did number 4. If you don't have that much time, then just do the even ones, but try to do this examples. These ones are a little bit more tricky because you have to go between Kartari Tritiya and Karane Tritiya. Oh, actually, sorry, 1 second is don't do 7 through 9. So 1 through 6. We haven't done 7 through 9. So only 1 through 6. And we did number 4 already. Okay, so 1 through 6. Only 1 through 6. Okay. So we'll finish there. We'll just take a few minute break. We'll come back at 7:12 or 7, yeah, so about 7:12. So if you can just take a little shorter break, sorry about that. And we'll pick up with our Upanishad class. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. I'm still here, so let me know if you have any questions.